Hi, this is Brother Richard, and today we're continuing with our lesson series, Prototokos Mystery, and this will be part 559. We're continuing with our lesson theme, The Kingdom of the Heavens. This will be part 12. Scripture teaches the apostasy, the falling away, will start with the appearing of non-human beings, which will deceive the leadership of the church as well as the whole human race. 1 Timothy, 4th chapter, verse 1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, demonian. Scripture teaches the apostasy, the falling away, will continue until the coming of the beast. 2 Thessalonians, 2nd chapter, verse 3. That no man deceive you by any means. For that day shall not come, except to come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. So, what's being said, the apostasy is going to continue from the start until the appearing of the beast, which brings us to the next principle. Scripture indicates the apostasy is comprised of a continuous line of beings appearing upon the earth, demanding recognition as gods and worship from men. This will continue until the appearing of the beast, who will exalt himself above all of them. 2 Thessalonians, 2nd chapter, verse 4. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Daniel, 11th chapter, verse 36. And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished, for that is determined shall be done. So what we're looking at is fantastic, because what the scripture is saying, from the time that man makes contact with the aliens to the time of the appearing of the Antichrist, you're going to have thousands, tens of thousands of these beings manifesting their presence upon the human psyche. And there's no way that this can be comprehended from a human perspective. It's going to bring about the situations that the human race is going to have to deal with.
Let me jump in for a second.
Sure.
So we've understood that until the man of sin appears, we're still talking about the apostasy. But when the Father causes humans to have great delusion, which is, I don't know, 3.5 years or whatever, after he's appeared, that's still apostasy.
No.
Why?
Because he's going to be the summation of reality to the human race.
Oh, meaning that he has now, for want of a better term, taken the place of Jesus Christ in the psyche.
Sure.
Okay.
He's taken the place of all reality.
Right.
Remember, it says he will seek to control times and seasons, and we put it into his hand.
So then the pseudo-realities that the God small g are perpetrating upon the humans in terms of...
Will end with him. That's why he's called the big lie.
Okay.
Yes.
What's coming to me right now, because of what he just got said, your follow-up, New World Order. That's what's happening. It's going to come in.
Well, that what you're talking about is started by Satan. It's going to be captured by the beast, and he's going to twist it into his own agenda. That's why it conquers Satan. Satan's got to wind up worshiping him.
Christ is no longer. He's not even in the picture.
Oh, sure.
It's a vying for attendance by all the other gods. Pick one. Well, which one do you? Oh, I don't know. It's going to be sickening.
Sure.
Because
that New World Order that you're describing, you're talking about, is being ushered in by the tares, because they know that this time of apostasy is coming. They're being prepared for it in the same way that our little group is being prepared for it.
Yes,
so
but they don't know the fullness of it.
Agreed. But they still understand that the world order, which was Christian-based, will be completely removed at the apostasy. That's what they're saying when they say that.
Sure. Oh, they've known that for a long time.
Sure.
That's why it was never really a Christianity to begin with. It was a distortion that they engineered. And all they have to do at a specific time is make their appearance. It'll fall like a house of cards. Sure. Now, what we find, Scripture teaches there are many in the heavens and in the earth that desire the worship and the adoration of the human race. This has been from the beginning. Turn to 1 Corinthians 8th chapter, verse 5. For though there be that are called gods, they're called gods by men. For that there be that are called gods, whether in heaven or the heavens, or in earth, as there be gods many and lords many. So this has been going on since the time of the fall. Beings that have appeared to humanity, and humanity has deified them, glorified them and worshipped them, and fed their egos to a point where it's almost something that drives them to want the adoration of the human race. Exodus 20th chapter, verse 3 to 5. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow thyself down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Now, why does he say that? Because the gods turn those that they influence against YHVH, and they stand in an adversarial position. This has happened from the time of the fall. First one to do it was the serpent. And it was an unending progression since that time. YHVH says the same thing that Paul says. They're in the heavens, they're in the earth, they're under the earth. They are motivated to make contact with the human race and to literally drive the human race to do their bidding. Scripture teaches once they start to appear to men, that's going to set this thing in motion. They will continue despite the upheavals of the human race, that the human race will suffer, which they will be responsible for. We're talking about through the judgment, through the gathering, through the rapture, through the tribulation period. They're going to continue to appear before men to motivate, deceive, and literally control humanity. Deuteronomy 32, starting in verse 16. And we see the cataclysmic results of contact with these beings. Starting at verse 16, they provoked him, YHVH, to jealousy with strange gods. With abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, demonian, not to God, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. So what you're getting here is an unbroken procession of individuals, non-human intelligences, that are coming in contact with the human race. Each time that happens, they're drawn further and further away from YHVH, and it drives him to distraction. Of the rock that begot thee, thou art unmindful. Thou hast forgotten God that formed thee. Notice it doesn't say God that created thee, it's God that formed thee. When the Lord saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and his daughters. And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are a very froward generation, children in whom is no faith. They have moved me to jealousy with that which is not God. They have provoked me to anger with their vanities. And I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people. I'll provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. For fire is kindled in mine anger, and shall burn unto the lowest hell, and consume the earth with their increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. I will heap mischiefs upon them. I will spin mine arrows upon them. They shall be burnt with hunger, and devoured with burning heat, and with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them, with the poison of serpents of the dust. The sword without, the terror within, shall destroy both the young man and the virgin, and the suckling also with the man of gray hairs. I said I would scatter them into corners, I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. So he is, like the scripture says, he is motivated to vitriolic rage by the non-appreciation of what these people have done, and of course the consequences that he wants to wipe them out. Well, what you're looking at here, of course, deals with the time of the great tribulation, where if he had his way, he would wipe out those that are under his charge, Israel. The Father steps in and shuts the whole thing down. This, of course, the candle, the icing on the cake, is when the beast goes into the temple.
Okay.
Turn back to Matthew 24.
So, if I've understood you correctly, what we've just read is the lead up to the abominations. Okay. Matthew 24.
Yeah, you notice what it says. It's not one God, it's the gods that came newly up. You have this consistent stream of gods coming up, and the humans being attracted to them, worshiping them, forgetting all about YHVH, and just going wholeheartedly in total pursuit of these beings.
Matthew
24. Starting at verse 15, 22. And when you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, this is the beast, entering in to disrupt the service to YHVH, put it down, and replace it with the worship of himself. This is the icing on the cake, because Israel up to this point is in idolatry. They've been in idolatry for a long time. Not just one time, it's consistent, going after this one, that one, the other one. But this is the sealing of it all when he makes its appearance, puts down the apostasy. This is one of the reasons that it happens, because they do no longer focus on the gods. He becomes the summation of all worship. And in that respect, you can't depart any further from the truth, because this is the end result.
But since we know that in Deuteronomy, YHVH brings him back from the wilderness, him, Israel, the diaspora. YHVH is leading back his gathering. He brings no strange god with him. So how long does it take before the idolatry begins again with the Jews?
Well, you notice what it says. It takes time for him to pour out everything. The land becomes a place of milk and honey, and they're brought to a place where they have entered into a lifestyle of plenty, and they reach a point, the saturation point. That's when they go into idolatry.
Does that going into idolatry happen around the time of the rapture of the church?
Before.
Okay.
Before.
As in significantly before?
Sure.
There's not that many years between the gathering and the rapture.
Doesn't matter. It
Okay.
doesn't take that long.
All right.
Plus, the idea is what we read in Deuteronomy. They come in contact with gods that come up at a certain point.
Okay, newly up, all right.
This is a point in which they have been, given the milk, the bread, all this other stuff. That doesn't take long. They're in the land. They're used to this now. And so they are led away from the focus now being on YHVH to the gods that are newly come up.
Okay.
So it doesn't take a long time.
Okay. So I'm understanding at that point, there are no more second stringers. Or are still second stringers still operating? I'm only talking about YHVH and the Jews.
No, there's no second stringers.
Okay.
No. The second stringers are all put down. There's no new gods. So everything that happens will happen from a standpoint of new beings being released to come up and infiltrate and influence Israel. So what you're going to have, though, is this is all protracted over a 40-year period. This takes place basically, I believe, a little after the midpoint of the tribulation period. The beast comes up second half of the tribulation period. So from the time of the rapture and all that, you have a generation
Yes.
that's being involved. Somewhere in the middle of all that, you get Ezekiel 38. They get invaded by Gog and Magog, and all gets put down, and you have 7 years in which they're taking wood out of the forests. So it's a protracted period. So we have verse 15, when you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe to them that are with child, and them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world, to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And one aspect of the great tribulation is YHVH's anger. He says, I will wipe him out of memory.
Right.
He's just that gone off the deep edge.
He causes it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. The Father's not going to allow him to wipe out the saints. Well, it's not just him. The beast is doing his thing also. Why? Because they get all these souls. So they're delighting in YHVH, wiping these people out. They don't die saved. They die, and some demon is waiting there to transport them down to the nether regions to torment. And YHVH is more than glad to oblige.
Sure.
Here, wipe them out. I don't want nothing to do with them anymore. He's lost it, basically. This is where the Father steps in, and then you get the course correction at 7-year period, where everything sums up. Well, actually, it's a 3.5-year period. He starts in the middle of the tribulation period, and he goes for 7 years.
He starts at the point where the beast is shaking his fist at the Lord.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, his start is when he takes out the 2 witnesses,
Right.
gets the acclamation of the whole world,
Okay.
and he makes a speech, and then all this power comes his way, and he exalts himself above all the gods, shuts down the apostasy. He now becomes the focus of everything. You can worship Amun-Ra, you can worship thought of Atlantis, you can worship wherever you want, but your worship is, the highest degree of worship is the beast. There's no departing from that worship. You can't even worship Lucifer, who is under the worship of the beast.
So that's why you can't call beast worship part of the apostasy.
No, you can call it the end of the apostasy, the summation of the apostasy. principle. Scripture indicates the beast will stop the apostasy by neutralizing their influence and maximizing his own over the human race. Daniel 11, verse 36 to 37. And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished. For that is determined shall be done. Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers. Notice that's capital G-O-D. Nor the desire of women. The human race has got absolutely no significance at all in his thinking.
Hang on a second, excuse me. Going back to the notice it's capital G-O-D. So who is that God of his fathers?
Doesn't say. It's an ancient God that the people that his ancestors came out worshipped.
A fallen God, though. Something
Sure.
like God of
Yeah,
forces.
definitely,
Right, okay.
Definitely. But he comes back and he reestablishes his ancient religion. When the beast makes his appearance, he negates it. He says, well, you can worship this guy, but you acknowledge me as being over him. I'm not acknowledging you as being the God of my people. I'm acknowledging me as being exalted over you.
So at what point does the beast move from small g to capital G? What point does the beast move from small g to capital G?
Well, as far as I know, he was never small g to begin with. He's a cherub.
Okay, so I was thinking that at the point that the Father wills the 10, who are,
Cherubs.
okay, but they're small g.
No.
Okay, that's my mistake. All right.
Remember, they're principalities. Small g are the nations, the created beings.
But I was thinking of the 10 being chained in subterranean regions.
Yeah.
And it was that led me to think that they were small g.
No. No. I believe the small g just refers to whether you are a principality from the primary creation or of the nations.
So they're all capital G's.
They all would be capital G.
Okay.
But they are all cherubim.
Yeah, for the most part. Cedars of Lebanon.
That's the point that you make. Okay, because that's their level. There are some cherubim who are below the cedars of Lebanon. They would not be capital G.
No, the ones that YGH is writing wouldn't
Right.
be capital G.
Okay.
It says, neither will he regard the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all. This is what shuts down the apostasy. Turn to 2 Thessalonians, 2nd chapter. It's the Father that has orchestrated this in part of his master plan. Starting at verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. In other words, his method of operation mirrors Satan's method of operation. He comes with a lot of supernatural power and signs and stuff. After working with Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. So he's going to be a miracle worker.
There's the implication that all those that were Satan's entourage and would have been cherubim, would have been capital G, behave in the manner that he behaves.
Sure,
Okay.
sure. It's just a question of degree.
Sure.
And with all deceivableness, notice he uses the word all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. Now what's being said here, this is crafted because the Father wants a reality to damn these people. This is a judgment which the Father through the beast is crafting over everybody that has ever rejected the truth of that generation. And for this cause, God the Father shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. So what's being said here, it shuts down the apostasy, because the apostasy is defection from truth. So you have 40 years in which they have gone deeper and deeper and deeper away from truth. This guy is going to be a reality in which it is rock bottom. You can't go beyond this. He is a summation of all that is a falsehood, all that is a lie. That's why basically he's called the great lie. Now turn to Revelation 13. Verses 7 and 8. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all, A-L-L, that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. What is this saying? All the people are worshiping gods. They're worshiping Satan. They're worshiping, you name it.
Right.
The God of his ancestors and all the rest of it. But this guy represents the ultimate. And everybody, no matter what God you're worshiping, you're going to worship him. Why? Because he represents the ultimate defection from the presence of the Father. You can't get any deeper away from the Father than this guy.
Would you describe that as a counterpart reality at that point?
Yeah.
All the ones who have been deluded, the strong delusion. They're the only ones who are able to receive that level of delusion. That's really where I'm going.
I would say this is the ultimate delusion. It's not real.
Sure.
It's a pseudo. But it is the essence and quintessence of what falsehood can be.
Can be. So it would be like a reality of realities, really, from a negative perspective.
It would be false enough to even deceive other Luciferians.
Okay, now that's interesting. Where do you get that aspect of it?
Because of the influence that he exerts over the other GODs, gods.
Okay.
His power is so great, they don't stand against him. Even Satan doesn't stand against him. With that kind of power, they respect the pseudo that he's capable of manifesting. And they get on his bandwagon. He's got followers. He's got guys that are following him. This is a degree in which it excels in what you can comprehend of how far away from reality it's possible to go. Yes, question?
And God has saved that circumstance for the sons.
Yes. He's also saved it as the final judgment on people that have rejected him for the thousands and thousands and thousands of years that the humans have had contact, opportunity, and rejected it.
These people can have no idea that anything else could exist. It's that and that alone. That's it.
That's it. He's going to be allowed to go further than any created being has ever went.
I was talking from the Father's perspective. From the Father's perspective, since he's the one who has given all these things, that, would you call that the final order of what we've been calling the physical separation?
Yes.
Okay.
So can you tell us what Scripture indicates where the collective sons have made their assault on this beast to finalize his...
Well, at the second coming, they're going to take down his empire and everything he represents. Jesus himself is going to take him out.
Okay.
There's a verse which we've read before, and I can't remember where it is, and you've mentioned it a number of
Second
times.
Thessalonians.
Is that it? Where there's an assault on them, and they essentially, the Prototokos break down the doors and drag out the Luciferians.
There's several scriptures, and I think in Isaiah it talks about they chase them from their abodes.
That's it.
And as particularly, as I was referring to Satan, he flees in terror. And they're going to chase him down to the lowest parts of the earth, where he winds up like a bowl of jelly on the face of the ground, and people are looking at him, saying, "Is this the man that did such and such and such and such?"
Oh, that's Isaiah 13. Yeah, okay. Another one.
Yeah. Yes.
So when you just now said what you said, Brother Jones, I saw in my mind, just for a brief second, I think it was Soleimani, I can't remember who it was, but it was Trump that sent the Trump, and they were chasing him in the cave, and he was squealing, and they got him, but his last squeal of being alive, and then
Took him out.
Yeah.
Is that the IRGC commander?
One of the terrorists or something.
You said Soleimani.
I said Soleimani because he's one of the latest rulers, and I know that Trump had something to do with it.
Okay.
One of those guys.
Okay.
He was screaming because he was running away from him, and
Right.
he could,
Yeah.
But it was his last squeal.
Yeah, he was in his estate, and they surprised him and everything, and he was trying to make his grand exit, and they
Not really.
cornered him like a rat, and he just
Squealing. Right.
squealed. Yeah. Anyway, so what we're finding here in this, we're looking at the Father's master plan. People are playing fast and loose with the opportunity. God sent his son to die a horrible death. And when you look at the way people talk about, denigrate Jesus, in such a way, it makes your spirit just totally wither. One guy was talking about, Christ on a crutch, such and such and such and such. Oh, Christ this and Christ that. And this, that. They denigrate what he did to a point. And the Father hears that. And the scripture tells us, every idle word a man speaks, he's going to give an account for it. You look at the sacrifice of the Lord, and you take it as though it's something you can jest about. You open yourself up for some very, very egregious experiences in eternity.
I imagine.
Brother Jones, I'm sorry I'm going to bring this up, guys, but I think it was my mom that quoted that on a crutch thing. I never heard it before until she said it.
I used to hear it when I was young. It was an avant-garde type of a quotation that people in the elitist groups that look down their noses at Christians would use to flaunt their belief.
What's the meaning of the crutch part?
It's just
An exaggeration.
just a colloquial saying. Like you would say, "Oh, for gosh sakes." They would say, "Oh, Christ on a crutch." So and so.
Never heard that.
Yeah.
I wish I could say
Flippant.
You wish you could say
I
what?
wish I could say what you just said. I never heard that.
Oh, yeah.
And, there's all sorts of, somebody says, well, I knocked the Bar Jesus out of you.
I've heard that, I think.
Yeah. All sorts of denigrating attributes to the Lord.
Sure.
And every time somebody says that, they don't realize, according
It's on their account.
it's on the record.
Our King James Bible instructs us to go beyond the salvation message, beyond the milk we are hearing in our churches, and to learn the doctrine of the kingdom of the heavens. From the time of John the Baptist's imprisonment, Jesus began to proclaim the kingdom of the heavens, and he taught the Apostle Paul for 3 years to prepare us for these end times. Visit our website to learn more about the true history of the creation, the meaning of our Father's master plan and the book of Revelation, the necessity for buying extra oil, Matthew 25 verse 9, what it means to become a mature Christian, the judgment, the beginning of sorrows, the gathering, the rapture, the tribulation, the last coming, and the millennium, what all these events really mean, your eternal position, sonship, and experiences in the Father's kingdom. Learn all these at prototokos.church.